From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here in studio. Bedlam, Saturday night, 7 o'clock up in Stillwater. It's going to be a fun one as always. Unexpectedly, though, the Cowboys will be playing Dru Brown at quarterback. Not unexpected after last week. We knew he was the guy after Spencer Sanders had thumb surgery, but we did not expect Dru Brown to be the quarterback for the Cowboys when Bedlam rolled around at the beginning of the year, and here we are. Scott Wright joins us on the phone, and Scott, Dru Brown will be starting his second game as a Cowboy on Saturday night, biggest rivalry of the year. He obviously came to Oklahoma State expecting to start a lot more games, and yet here he is. I have to think this is one of those things he feels like, even though he may not start that many games, win Bedlam, and his star will always ride high with the Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at a couple of situations in the past where this has happened before. Mason Rudolph in 2014, Josh Fields in 2001, both pushed into the starting lineup the week before Bedlam, and both turned around and won it in their second game, beat Oklahoma, and obviously they had a lot more time afterwards to go on and become legends. But those two games are still heavily talked about in their kind of in their stories. So this would absolutely put Dru Brown in a really special place in Oklahoma State quarterback lore.
Yeah, for sure. Scott, interesting this quarterback matchup in that Jalen Hurts, OU's quarterback, highly regarded as a high school recruit, gets recruited by Alabama, plays for the Crimson Tide, starts as a freshman, ballyhooed. We all know that backstory. Dru Brown, vastly different, Scotty. This guy comes to this point, this matchup between he and Jalen Hurts with a wholly different backstory, basically unrecruited out of high school, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is the polar opposite from the Jalen Hurts story. He had no scholarship offers when he was coming out of Los Gatos High School in Northern California. Ended up going to the College of San Mateo nearby, and played 1 year there. Had a really good year in that offense, and finally got some looks from some Division I schools. Got a scholarship offer to Hawaii. That's how he ends up there, and of course he starts the year his sophomore season as the backup, and just a few games in wins the starting job there, and ends up starting 22 games at Hawaii, and that's when he decided he wanted to try something better, and he wanted to get to a Power 5 school and take his opportunities and see what he could do, and so he walked away from a starting quarterback job at Hawaii and transferred as a grad transfer to Oklahoma State. So really unique story. He talks highly of his junior college coaches being the first guys or the only guys who really believed in him out of high school. Other than his high school coaches and his parents, basically, is the way he frames it. So it's really impressive for him to have worked as hard as he has and gotten himself to this point.
Scott, his first start as a Cowboy last week at West Virginia, close call, exciting game. He threw the ball very efficiently, 22 of 29, but not a lot of yards. It was more intermediate, short passes that Dru Brown threw, not sort of the long cross-country stuff we've seen not only out of Spencer Sanders earlier this year, but Dru Brown in some of his backup duties. Obviously, that's a road game. First start, just all of the emotion of that. Do you feel like some of the playbook was a little bit pared down for Dru Brown's first start? Do you expect a different, more expanded playbook in Bedlam? What's your sense of Dru Brown's role and what we might see on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think that they will probably try to get him comfortable early. And then try to expand some things, make sure that he's feeling like he's in a rhythm, because they tried to throw deep early, and it was an incomplete pass, and then they went to sort of the screen game with Chuba Hubbard, and then they finally got him in a rhythm really really strong in that fourth quarter with some short, quick passes and started making him feel comfortable. I think they might try to get him comfortable a little quicker with some of that tempo stuff, the up tempo passing, and then give him some chances to try to throw down the field, because they're going to need to throw down the field a little bit deeper to try to loosen up the run coverage in the box. So that's going to be really important to giving Chuba Hubbard a chance to do what he can do, so that because that's obviously the key to winning this game for Oklahoma State is Chuba Hubbard having a big day. You're not going to go outscore Oklahoma and Chuba Hubbard have 88 yards rushing. Right. So that's going to be the most important thing, and to help that out, they're going to need Dru Brown to be completing some passes and keeping that defense honest.
All right, well, we'll see what Dru Brown does in his first Bedlam start, his second start as a Cowboy Saturday night, 7 o'clock kick up in Stillwater. Bedlam is on Fox. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at oklahoman.com and every day in the Oklahoman.